right.
Are you ready to do this? We are back again. This is the third time we have recorded this episode. We've had some technical difficulties. We have a bit of a new look set going on, so
Me too.
Third time's the charm.
Third time's so Boston 3, take 3.
Boston 3, take 3. Thank you, Boston, for never leaving once
Never
again.
leaving. People don't get that joke because they haven't heard the first 2 podcasts. We'll circle back around to it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
not. July 11th, 2003, Boston 3 in Mansfield, Massachusetts. This was my first show. Ryan's second show. You had already gone to the Albany show in April.
Yep.
What a ridiculous show to be my first concert.
For this to be your first experience with any live band is a pretty profound
experience, as Eddie would say. Yeah. That was the summer after my freshman year of high school, so I was 13 years old. Yeah. Or 14.
I was 19.
I think I was 14.
No,
right?
I was 17.
You were 17.
No, 1984,
2003.
2003. We should know.
So you were 19.
I got to do some deep research on
some basic math.
How old I was for the show. I would have been 19 years old.
Okay, yeah. So
because I was born 19 years before the show. So
yes,
when we went to the
okay,
show,
there you
I was
go.
19. That's how I remember it. So how old were you?
87 to 2003. So I was 14, not quite 15.
87 to 2003 is 16 years.
So I was 15. Okay. I went to summer school. I was not the smartest student in high school. I was the second smartest, so I had to go to summer school.
In Minnechaug, if you're not the valedictorian, you go to summer school. So you were 15 going on 16.
Summer school. Yeah, you picked me up.
I picked you up from school the day I got the tickets. So after the Albany show, I really wanted to go to one of the Boston shows. The first 2, I think, were off the table.
I think they were sold out by the time
we
even.
If I knew anything like I do now, I would have known how many other ways there are to get tickets. I could have gone on the message board and found them, but basically,
if you had known then what you know now.
That's right.
Yeah.
They announced a third Boston show, and the way I sold it to our parents, I had said, well, what if I bring Greg to this one, and it can be a gift for him. So I bought the tickets. He said not to tell you. I said sure. So we were going to do a big reveal closer to the show to let you know that you were going to the show. And I picked you up from summer school, and daughter came on the radio, and I was like, you're going to go see the show with me. And you were like, what? Yeah, so in the car, I just had to convince you, and I don't think you even knew about the show. I didn't. And you said, what do you mean? And I said, they added a third show on July 11th, and I got his tickets this morning, and you thought it was a big joke.
Yeah, because we had talked about going to the Boston shows, and that ship had sailed. So I definitely thought it was a joke. I had not heard about this third show, and my goodness, was I excited. I spent the rest of my summer school days just writing down set lists.
Yeah.
Like ones that they would never do unless they had no choice, like opening with Rats and playing full albums and stuff like that.
Well, which they ended up doing later on. So
yeah, that's true.
Maybe you were a prophet.
Oh, yes.
Maybe your summer school made you very smart.
Ooh, no.
That ship is also sailed, just like the tickets for Boston 1 and 2.
Oh, man. So
later on, we did the big reveal, and you did a great job acting surprised.
Yeah.
I almost was convinced that
I forgot.
that you forgot or thought I was lying because you really acted like you had never heard of this before.
And it was more exciting because I got to see the seating chart and where we were
good
sitting.
Seats, and you didn't know anything about where we were. For all you knew, we could have been on the lawn.
Yeah.
And we were lower section 7, which is behind the bottom 3, but they were good seats.
They were great. Yeah.
We're already excited about the show, and then I had read something on 2 Feet Thick where Ed was biking around the parking lot before the first Boston show, and he told the fans that talked to him that over the 3 shows they were going to try to play all 3 shows without a repeat, and they were trying to play all the songs in the catalog. I thought this was a joke, and then the set list for night 1 came out, pretty good set list. Set list for night 2 came out, no repeats. Yeah. And I thought, my gosh, they're at least doing 3 shows without a repeat. There was no way they were going to play all the songs, it felt like, because they had gotten through maybe 50, a little more than that. And there were still almost 50 left. They were touring with about 105 songs. So
okay, yeah.
So they were nowhere close. I think that included covers, but when you look at all the songs they played for the tour, I just thought there was no way they were even going to come close. So then as the show got closer, I read on the Red Mosquito message board that they had announced they were coming out before Slater-Kinney to play a set before the opening band. Yeah. And then the excitement really ramped into high gear.
Yeah, I still didn't believe it. I was like, how is this possible? Are they actually going to come out before the opening band and
play a set? And
a whole set?
And when I told you the news, you just thought that was something I made
yeah.
up. It sounded like something I would say
sounds like
a joke.
It sounds like an April Fool's joke somebody would post on the forum. This was afterwards, obviously, but remember when Worldwide Suicide was released?
On the Red Mosquito forum had a April 1st preview of Worldwide Suicide. The lyrics spelled out "All hail Satan, y'all." If you read what the posted lyrics were going down, the first letter of each line spelled it out, and it was a great prank. So
that's kind of what I thought it might be.
And it was initially the Red Mosquito forum, which has a tendency to be somewhat sarcastic and goofy at times. And then I got, I think, an email about it from Ticketmaster because I had gotten the tickets from them that said this was the plan. We're opening the gates an hour early. The show's starting, and I was really excited. And boy, did we get there early!
Yeah, we got there early. I packed a cooler full of A&W cream soda and probably drank 5 or 6 of them on the way down. And then when we got there, they were handing out energy drinks.
Yeah, they were giving away free Monster energy drinks.
So, oh my goodness, I used the bathroom like 3 times before we even went in.
Yeah.
I still just had to go one more time, and I missed them taking the stage.
You were all hyped up on caffeine. It got about 5 minutes before the band was to take the stage, and you were talking about having to go to the bathroom, and I said, at this point, you should wait. And you said, well, if I wait, I'm waiting an hour, and I can't wait an hour. And I said, you're going to miss the beginning. And you said, I got to do it.
I blame the energy drinks, the free energy drinks.
Yeah.
I guess who brought those? The venue? Was that the venue's fault? The free energy drinks?
The radio station.
The radio station.
I don't remember which one, if it was 107.3 at the time.
So, I was so mad at myself at the time, obviously.
And you left your ticket under your seat.
I left my ticket stub under my seat. And when I was running back to get to my seat during Long Road, I accidentally went down to the lower seats. So I tried to climb a fence.
Climb the
barrier.
To our section.
To our section.
And you got caught.
They pulled me down and said, no, you can't do that. Where's your ticket? I was like, I was so mad. I left it up there. They're like, all right, stay calm. Well, I am fucking calm.
You were not.
I was not calm at all, no. So they had to let some people through, and eventually they came up to my seat, and I showed them my stub.
I remember seeing you escorted up to your seat, and I was like, is this woman going to tell me that he's getting kicked out? Is that what's going on right now? Did he start so much chaos in the bathroom? We hadn't had anything to drink. We
no alcohol to drink. I had plenty to drink.
Well,
you know what, though? I think, one, I've gotten over it, but also if I had waited instead, I think I would have been miserable the whole time. So
yes,
I enjoyed 90%, 95%.
You missed 3 minutes of music and enjoyed about 50 versus just having to pee for 55 minutes.
Yeah. I remember Eddie came out in a mask.
I missed
in between
that part.
songs.
He
Were
did.
You not there
he came
for
out
that?
in a devil mask.
I think he left his cigarettes or something on stage.
Yeah,
and he ran out to get him with a little mask.
I was told about that. I did miss Slater-Kinney. I felt I heard them from the bathroom just as loud as if I was there.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll talk more about the vocal stylings of Slater-Kinney a little later. But I like their music. Okay, I didn't see much of the set. But the Pearl Jam set was fantastic. So the idea of Pearl Jam playing acoustic in this hour that they played before Slater-Kinney was mostly acoustic. Mike had a clean electric guitar for a few songs, but it was very close to what they had been doing at the Bridge School and what they did later on in the year at Benaroya Hall. The only song they played during the acoustic set that they hadn't played either at Benaroya Hall or a Bridge School was All Those Yesterdays.
And when's the last time they had played that? Like
they hadn't played it since '98.
The old tour.
Yeah, and they'd only played it a few times. So
at that point.
So that was a big surprise because they had all these songs to get to that they said they were trying to do all of the songs that they had played, and even with all those songs to get to, they play something for the first time in 5 years, which is very special. One of my favorite songs by them. So huge moment, one of my favorite performances of seeing them. And the acoustic set was really, really good. And again, it was familiar waters, but there were great performances. Footsteps in particular had a great a great little lyrical improv and save by Ed with his "If there are questions I need from you, allow me to continue to ask you."
Continue to ask you.
Yeah, they came out with Long Road. It was a gray day. Ed sang "The Sky is Always Gray" instead of "The Skies Are Turning Gray," which I thought was a kind of a cool reference to the kind of day we were having, although it might not have been. It might have been just a quick change in the moment, but
Right.
it felt like it was tailor-made for the moment. After Long Road, then they did Of the Girl, which was different from the Benaroya Hall performance because it was truly acoustic. Mike had the acoustic for that. Sometimes was pretty intense. I remember really, really feeling that one. And because this was just our second show, this was our first time seeing just about all these songs. There were very few repeats for me from Albany.
Yeah.
Off He Goes was the first time I had heard that song and really loved a live performance. All Those Yesterdays was after Off He Goes. That was a huge moment. And then Driftin', I had never heard Driftin' before that night.
I didn't either. I had to ask you what it was.
Yeah, they did the release of Lost Dogs later that year, and it was obviously a fan club song, I believe, before then, but I hadn't heard it. So
Yeah.
Thin Air was one of my first favorite Pearl Jam songs. A couple quick, almost flubs, but I'd saved them very quickly. And then a unique version of Sleight of Hand, which we did get again at Benaroya, but that was kind of a cool, unexpected one for the acoustic set. I expected that to be maybe played electric in the main set. And then Footsteps, I think, was, for both of us, maybe the highlight of the mini set. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, this was my first show. It was my first time seeing all of these songs, but Footsteps was a huge highlight. Indifference was a big highlight. Indifference I hadn't really been super into before seeing it live, but it kind of changed after they closed the set with Indifference. Love the binaural stuff, and it, like you said about Sleight of Hand, it was interesting to hear it in an acoustic setting.
The chorus of that song is so heavy on the record, so this was a lot more subtle.
Yeah, and the production of that record is a little odd. So I think those songs have more power, I guess, more meaning seeing them live as opposed to hearing them on that album.
I remember during Footsteps, some people would, a bunch of people stood up, and we actually had to get them to sit back down because Ed had asked the crowd to sit down. And then a cool version of All or None with the Heartbreaker solo from Led Zeppelin's Heartbreaker played at the end. Parting Ways is one of my favorites, so we had heard that. Actually, this is the first time we heard it. We'd hear it again at the next show we went to, the Boston Vote for Change Night 2, which was technically a warm-up for Vote for Change, but it was that year, 2004. Yeah. And then Indifference, which everybody did stand up for. It kind of started in the crowd. There was a murmur going through the crowd, and Ed said, get up.
Let's go. Yeah.
Get up. The singing at the end. Love hearing the crowd sing.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I remember getting a kick out of somebody a couple rows ahead of us kind of acting out some of the lyrics, like stare the sun down until your eyes go blind. I'll hold the candle till I burn off my arm.
He was holding his arm.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I got a kick out of it, but you know what? That's kind of what I do now sometimes.
We probably, If people see us at his show, they probably get a kick out of us sometimes too.
Yeah, definitely. So, that's the acoustic set. Do you want to take a shot at going through the entire set list from memory?
Sure.
I can't come close to doing this, so this is all you.
Yeah, the only two shows I was able to still remember the Albany set list. This one I might be able to remember. I've somewhat compartmentalized it into
chunks,
like little chunks. So the acoustic set is 12 songs, kind of two sets of 6. I go, we already pretty much listed them all, but it's Long Road, Of the Girl, Sometimes, Off He Goes, All Those Yesterdays, and Driftin'. And then the second side of that is Thin Air, Sleight of Hand, Footsteps, All or None, Parting Ways, and Indifference. The main set's the trickiest part because it's 20 songs, but I break into two groups of 5. You have Can't Keep, Break or Fall, Brain of J, Spin the Black Circle, and Ghost. And then you have Green Disease, Tremor Christ, Given to Fly, Nothing As It Seems, and Crop Duster. And then I kind of go into a 6 for the next set because it ends with the Man trilogy. But you have, lost my place for a second. You have Faithful, Why Go, a terrible version of Wish List, which Ed begged for his forgiveness. He said, I don't forgive him for that version of Wish List. Unforgiven Ed. So that's up to 13. Then you have the Man trilogy, which he said fit like fit together like teeth in a Georgian's mouth.
He had it out for Georgians that night.
He
I
did.
don't know what it was.
He told a couple Georgia jokes and then he apologized.
Yeah.
But, I met someone from Georgia that was at that show, and he also did not forgive Ed. So a lot of people
For that or for Wishlist?
for the Georgia jokes.
He
had fantastic teeth, my friend. But the Man trilogy was Leather Man, Nothing Man, Better Man. And then if you're listening to the bootleg, disc 2 ends with the track Half Full. And then disc 3 begins with MFC, Untitled, MFC, and Blood. And that's the main set. It gets easier after that because they're shorter chunks. The 7-song encore was Breath, Habit, Down, Mankind, You, Black Jeremy. They came back out, not on the bootleg, but they did Arc. He sang Arc with the loops. And then you had 4 covers. And it was I Believe in Miracles, Know Your Rights, Fortunate Son, Rockin' the Free World. They played the one note thing, which could be considered a song, might not be, but it's just 1, 2, 3, 4.
On the track list. Yeah, on the track list.
And then they left. They came back. They did one note again right before Ledbetter very quickly, and then they closed with Ledbetter.
100%.
So
did
that's the Boston 3.
All 45 songs.
Set list 45, 46, 40, depending on if you include one note as a song, and then of course Arc is in there, which was definitely played, but almost. For people maybe that didn't go, a little forgotten because it's not on the bootleg. Then after the acoustic set, they obviously Slater Kinney played, but we had been hearing strong rumors in the parking lot from many people. I don't know where this originated, but they said that the Doors were going to open the show without Jim Morrison. The Doors of the 21st Century.
See, I'm wondering if there was a mix-up. Someone was asking when the doors opened to the venue.
And they said doors at 5:30 or something, and they
said doors at 5:30, and they're like, "Oh, the doors are opening." So maybe it was a venue thing. They saw, the doors are opening at this time. Doors are opening for Pearl Jam. That's
it
what
would have been
says.
even funnier if it originated with an arena worker who saw the layout for the night and decided that the doors were what was happening at 5:30. But many people told us that was going to happen. I told all of them that was not happening, and they said, "You'll see." And then obviously Ed unknowingly squashed that rumor early on when he said you'll get to have the profound experience of seeing Slater Kinney play live, to which a lot of people were, it is Slater, it's not the Doors. And of course I didn't even
A bunch of people just left. Right? I thought I was seeing the Doors, man.
The Doors were here. No Doors, but Slater Kinney, and then the band came back pretty much all guns a-blazing. A lot of these songs that they played early were very, very fast, even faster than the studio version. Ed even started the verse for Brain of Jay a few measures earlier than he should have, and Stone had to switch to the verse riff instead of the intro because he wasn't ready. So they knew they had a lot of songs. They came out and attacked them. Yeah. And high energy from the get-go. Can't Keep is a cool opener.
I think Can't Keep, that's one that could have been in the acoustic set, but I'm kind of glad they see it. I think it fits really well where it is as the first song in the main set. It's a little slower and less just a little slower.
It's got a build to it. It's not the...
It's a warm-up kind of for the set of songs that came afterwards.
It's not the change of pace you get from Oceans or Release or Long Road, which, of course, they had played all of those. Long Road already opened the night. But when they take the stage and play Sometimes or Release, they really ease into the night. Can't Keep is kind of it already starts with a mid-tempo shuffle, and then by the end of it, you're really ready to go. So for the type of start they had, I thought it was a good opener.
And that going into Breaker Fall was fantastic.
It was. That's a favorite of mine, Off by Norrell.
Yep.
Brain of Jay, I've never not seen Brain of Jay again. I didn't think it would be.
That's a shame.
It is.
That's a great song. Is it because Eddie can't hit the notes? Is it hard to play?
They still play it here and there.
Haven't seen
it. Once or twice a tour they'll break it out and it still sounds good. But
that needs to be more common.
They should play it more than they. Speaking of songs that could be played more, Tremor Christ was a great performance. So that was cool. Why Go was a weird version.
Yeah, they hadn't quite figured out how to play the intro, so they kind of did their
just went into the verse riff.
A different version.
The jam didn't have the right chord progression. Nothing As It Seemed you had highlighted as a great song to hear electric. They had done that at Bridge School's acoustic. We thought we might get it acoustic, but it sounded great in the arena that night.
Drummer Christ is one of those like odd duck songs. At the time, I wasn't super into it, but I definitely appreciated at the time how rare it was. And now I love seeing songs like that just because of how often I've seen other songs.
But
So,
that's a favorite of mine off Vitalogy. I actually
Yeah.
have always really, it's a very seasick sounding song. It's different for them, and I think it's different in a good way.
yeah, it sticks out.
Yeah. Faithful sounded great.
Yeah, Faithful sounded
Great jam. He said
Got some good Riot Act stuff in here. I'm not a big fan of Green Disease, but I do like Ghost. I like Can't Keep. I like the stuff they played in the acoustic set, All or None.
I really liked Green Disease live. The chorus sounded great and really punchy and great. The guitars sounded a lot better. It's got a slow kind of dirgy new wave feel on the record, but it's I think too slow to do what it's meant to do, and it really moves live. I think it does what it's supposed to. So I was surprised at that. Wish List is bad lyrically from Ed, but then at the end they did the Why Can't I Touch It tag, which was very cool.
Yeah. I did just want to point out, Given to Fly was fantastic, but there was a good alternate verse from Eddie. He said, smoked a joint in a tree, and that got a rise out of the crowd.
Which I think was the first time he's done that. I've heard it a couple times since, but I think that was the first time.
That got an audible reaction, and I mean, you could smell it at the time too. So it's clear that people were smoking joints in the tree.
I think around us, at least, there was probably more pot smoke than I'd ever had before since at a concert. Even though it's an outdoor venue, that was
the guy right in front of us got busted.
He did.
He took a big puff, big inhale, and then security guard flashed a flashlight right in his face, and he held it as long as he could.
The guy, and then he just coughed it all up right in the security guard.
Plumes of smoke. That was funny. Nothing as it seems. They played this in the normal set instead of the acoustic set. Yeah, that was great to see, and I think they made the right call. I said in one of the 2 times we already recorded this episode that the guitar tone was really cool, and you might say it was incendiary. Incendiary.
It was incendiary.
Good job.
Guitar tone from Stone with a bit of a flange effect on Nothing As It Seems, which made it a unique version. I'd heard it on the 2000 bootlegs. This sounded better than most of those versions.
That was awesome.
Fantastic, and Mike ripped it up. And then we got the version of the aforementioned version of Wish List, the Man Trilogy.
Faithful was a lot of fun. I was not super familiar with the song at the time. I had heard it, and I knew of it.
Great crowd during that song, too.
Great crowd, and they just killed it during the breakdown.
Big sing-along and a big breakdown.
That was just a lot of fun.
Half full. Mike's solo at the end was really, really good. Long version of that song.
Crop Duster, I'm actually really into now.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was not. I like that song a lot, though.
You're jumping all over the place, huh?
Yeah, that's okay.
We can talk about the songs in whatever order we want, man.
Yeah, and then you had that Why Go.
Let's talk about them in alphabetical order. So, all those yesterdays. Black.
Breaker Fall, Brain of J Blood.
There's a lot of B songs.
There are a lot of B songs.
A lot of B songs in this set list.
Maybe that's what they'll do next time they play Boston 3 times, is they'll do all the songs again, but they'll do it in alphabetical order. So it'll be like A through F, and then G through P.
Damn it, I wanted to see a live, but I can only get tickets to nights 2 and 3. And then some people left after Blood. They did the Untitled MFC, which was cool.
Yeah, that's confusing.
And then Blood, which by that time the show was 32 songs in, so maybe they figured there'd be 1 or 2 song encore, but they missed a significant chunk of tunes. And then they came out for the encore and played a song that you took great pains to make sure that we heard that night.
Yes, we stopped for gas on the way.
Yeah.
And I picked up some Mentos Breath Makers.
I
said, look, because I brought these, they're going to play Breath. And because I brought them, they played Breath. He introduced it by saying, take it deep. And you said, deep?
Why would they play Deep again? And Greg was like, you idiot. You're supposed to finish the sentence.
The next one. He's hinting at it. He's not saying.
And we had a very unique experience from a fan perspective during Breath, because a couple showing great amounts of PDA made their way down from the upper sections and decided that our seats were actually theirs.
And they danced. Well,
they
flailed their limbs.
They danced and made out in our seats.
Yeah.
Well, we were still at our seats, standing in front of them.
Yeah.
And
bumping into us. I don't think they even noticed us after bumping into us.
And I thought that they were being kind of intentionally, didn't care if they were being obnoxious. But after the song ended, I said, "These are actually our seats." And they looked at the numbers and they looked at their tickets and said, "I am so sorry." And they they laughed.
That was pretty funny, pretty bizarre. I mean, I think we were thinking of getting security involved, but thankfully after that song, we cleared up the issue.
We cleared up the honest confusion, apparently. They played Habit was the first time I'd seen. Obviously, we'd seen it. The only time I've seen it in standard tuning. I think they've dropped it since then, which still sounds all right, but. Again, the 2003 Ed's voice was spectacular.
Yeah.
Down was cool to see, dedicated to Howard Zinn. Mankind after that, and that they had Pink Lights. It was a tentative version that they were doing once in a while in 2003 that wasn't quite rehearsed.
I think Stone even said something about it.
He said it was almost magic.
It was almost mad. I've been waiting to get the mic all year. That's my Stone impression.
It was okay, but in 2000 they had some real kick-ass versions of that song, so it was kind of interesting that for the next tour they didn't bother learning it at all, but they still played it.
That's kind of a fun one. I don't think they care too much about how tight.
No, and it was near the end of a long night. You is a cool little B-side. I thought going from You to Black, going from a little throwaway love ditty to a big breakup song was actually
you might call that tonal whiplash.
Tonal whiplash.
There you go.
I wasn't going to call it that, but you did. Thank you.
Yeah, you was pretty fun. And then going into their
to the Epic Black, which is a different version in 2003 with the
most depressing song ever, but pretty amazing.
Slowed down acoustic version that they were doing, a little bit heavy with Boom. Big sing-along at the end, and then even bigger sing-along was Jeremy.
Yeah.
And that's when Ed said they had one more of our song. The fan gave him the old one more, and he said,
one more right back to you,
buddy.
It was so funny when he's like, all right, we got one more, and the crowd boos.
He
says, one more of our songs, and they're like, okay, but still.
We're still not through. What, are the doors coming? And then Jeremy was epic. Big sing-along.
Jeremy was the song that got me into the band, so that was pretty special to see it at my first show and have it just blow me away with how good it sounded and how into it the crowd was.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Our Arc was very cool to see to start the second set. Then we got the covers. We had really been looking forward to hearing Fortunate Son. There were some great versions of Fortunate Son on the tour.
And it's a really cool song.
And we had heard some of them, so I'd say we were a little taken aback by this version, but we did find out the answer to a question, because we had always thought, what if John Fogerty didn't write a melody to this song or sing it in any sort of key? What if he just screamed it at the top of his lungs? And now we know what that would sound like. I think it sounded better on the record. I think they should have kept with the melody thing, but we got the alternate version with Slater-Kinney.
And even just musically, the instruments, the way it was played, sounded a little off.
A little tentative, wasn't quite there.
I think the end of the show was definitely a little sloppy, but it felt like the end of a huge party.
It did.
You can't really
Rockin'
fault them
in the
for
Free
that.
World. Now the vocals on Rockin' in the Free World seemed to fit that song a lot better, even though it was still the shared microphone moment. That seemed to fit a lot better. Yeah. And then we got One Note.
Oh my goodness.
Which they had done in, I think it was Birmingham, Alabama, but they did it quickly. So I went and listened to what they did there. They played Yellow Lead, or I think it was Ledbetter, and then at the end of Ledbetter they just got different instruments on, and then Matt clicked, and they did that real quick and ran off. It wasn't quite as built up, but this time they built it up. He asked if they wanted to hear another one. The crowd's all lathered up, and then when they said 1, 2, 3, 4, ran off stage. People were not happy.
Well, I burst out laughing, but if they didn't come back and play another song, I probably would have been pissed, because I just thought they were going to come back and play more. It was pretty funny.
It was funny.
But if that's how they ended the show...
On one hand, after 3+ hours of music, you don't really get to ask for much more. On the other hand, a weird way to end a show.
If that is how they ended it, they would have taken a lot of goodwill from that amazing show and thrown it away. Not all of it.
No.
But I think that would have been it would have tainted the legacy of that show a little bit if that's actually... It
would have been the strangest ending to an epic night. But instead they came back out, Played it again with the acoustic guitar real quick, and then Ledbetter, which was probably the only time that Ledbetter ending a show has been a genuine surprise because
They had already played
it, and they weren't supposed to repeat a song. So we actually got to be shocked when those first notes started up, and it was a great ending that Ed ended, sang improv. I never have to play this outdoor place again, because they had talked about breaking the curfew and having to move indoors to, at the time, the Fleet Center, where we saw them in 2004. They did in 2008, obviously, come back outdoors to Mansfield, and they did not break the curfew, those shows, but Ed advertised the fact that they were getting kicked out of the Tweeter Center, at the time, Great Woods venue there, and so a version of Ledbetter, closed out an epic night. A lot of the locals that Ed had given tickets to, some of them ended up on stage.
That's right. Yeah,
because they knew they were breaking the curfew, so the band actually went to people at the community behind the lawn and gave away tickets.
Like, please let us play late.
Yeah, here
Please don't be mad.
You're not going to sleep anyway. Here's tickets to the show.
Do you want something to do while you're awake at 11:30 at night?
Come see the Underwear show.
Yeah.
Cool way to make peace.
Yeah. Thank you, Boston, for never leaving.
That's right.
Is what I thought he said.
When he came out before Ledbetter and said, "Thank you, Boston, for a memorable evening," Greg thought, "Thank you, Boston, for never leaving." And
that's
he
what I thought
that
he
for
said
a long time.
Until the bootleg came in. I was like, oh, that's what he said.
A memorable evening. I said, "What do you think he said?"
Never
Thank
leaving.
you, Boston, for never leaving.
Because we stayed the whole time.
Yeah. Would have been much less of an important show if everybody left halfway through, but we didn't do it. So what a night! Probably the
ridiculous.
Best show we've seen.
Right? Definitely my favorite. I mean, there are others that do come fairly close, but partly because it was my first show, but mostly because of how epic the whole concept is, how ambitious they were with those 3 nights, especially the third night, and the fact that they basically pulled it off. I think there were a couple songs they didn't play. Red Mosquito.
Red Mosquito was the most noteworthy to me.
Yeah, and maybe 1 or 2 others that they didn't play.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I know Red Mosquito to me was the one where I was like, oh, I really would have loved to see it. But
State College 2003 was the longest show going into that,
right.
And you had that bootleg.
Yep.
I remember listening to it and like, oh, okay, they're never going to play a show this long again.
And then
Same
we saw
tour.
one, and I do think in 2009, I think they played a longer one in Philadelphia. Some people will argue, and I think this is the stupidest argument you'll see. People argue that it wasn't one show; it was 2 shows or 2 sets, so it shouldn't count for as long as it is. Which, who cares? I mean,
it was the same night.
We bought a ticket.
Right.
They played all these songs, so it was really memorable. A couple shows right after the show, with recency bias, I thought MSG 2 2010, I thought that might have been as good as Boston 3. The 10 show where they played 10 in its entirety in Philadelphia in 2016, right after that show, I thought that might have been as good as Boston 3. But given some time to reflect and actually think about it, Boston 3 is the best show I've seen from them or anybody. So special
it's the
night.
best there is.
And there's only one thing that obviously could have made it better.
What's that?
The fucking
Doors.
The Doors, with or without Jim Morrison, man.
If the doors don't open, how do we get in the venue?
Yeah,
right?
I need some Peace Frog.
Elderly Indian.
Elderly woman on Don's highway bleeding. Ghosts crowd the young child's fragile eggshell mind.
Blood screams of pain to chop off my fingers. We should tour as the Doors.
So basically we're the Doors now. So we'll leave you with that.
Yeah.
And the next
Plenty more
show,
coming up 1 year later.
Yeah, just a year later. This was one of the rare instances where Ed said, see you next year, and we got to see him next year. So Boston 2004 is the next show we will talk about.
Any jokes to close out?
Any jokes to close out?
Do you have any dad jokes?
How do you catch a rabbit in the woods?
Very carefully.
Well, no. You actually get behind a tree and make carrot sounds.
Okay. That's enough.
Bye, folks.